morning and welcome to our devotions for today, Tuesday of this week. We trust that the night has been especially peaceful and we all would have been participating in one way or another with respect to the funeral service of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. A phenomenal experience for those who were able to participate or watch it. We give God thanks for her life, and we continue to pray for the United Kingdom at this time. As we begin our time together today, we bring before God all those in our lives that we want to remember in this time of devotion, especially those who have lost loved ones at this time. There seems to be a tremendous loss of life around us, and it is really taking a toll on many individuals. And so we want to be able in our time together to hold persons in deep love and to assist in bringing down that sense of anxiety and uncertainty. As children of the light, it is our responsibility to bring light into the world. It's a work, it's a task. It's not just about our being able to feel okay with ourselves, but we have a responsibility to others. And I trust that we will use the gifts that we possess and assist others in their own journey. So as we begin this morning, it is important for us to have that sense of being a part of something greater and knowing that we have within us the ability to help. We may be amazed at what we can do if we set our hearts in the right place. So let's now then prepare ourselves for this time of devotion. And as we engage this time of devotion, I want us to bring ourselves into a particular space, feeling space, where we bring our attention inward. We consciously take a series of breaths, breathing in through our nostrils and breathing out slowly through our mouths. And be intentional in this breathing practice. And sense the breath going down into our heart space. And allow that heart space to be filled with gratitude. And as it is filled with gratitude, allow that heart space to expand. Bringing in as much light as we can. Imagining a sphere of light above our heads coming down and coming into us and filling our hearts with light. Allow more light to come in until that light in our heart space is intensified. Also, just as if it is ready to burst or explode. Just keep allowing the light to come in and to fill our heart space. And just allow that light to just begin to spread out through our entire body. Let's fill in every cell of our body with that divine light. until we ourselves radiate and we become a light. And we know that light is about vibration and energy. And so we offer that light, that energy to our world. Bringing to mind especially those persons we know whose lives are in turmoil, and even our own lives. Just bringing that light to all of us and allowing that light to enter the darkness, the dullness, the depressed areas within us and within others. Just remember that we are the light of the world. It is not something we will become or something we have to work towards. We are light. We are light. We are light. So let us allow that light to shine this morning with its brilliance, raising the vibration of others and ourselves. Even though our immediate experience will prove to us something different, our concern at this moment is that beautiful light that is radiating from within us and lifting us up out of our circumstance, lifting others up out of their circumstance. Inviting us to hold this light, to hold this energy, as long as we're able to practice holding this energy, to practice how this feels, and to return time and again to this sense of elation when we know ourselves as light, not as victims, not as morbid, not as anxious, but as light. The more often we're able to set our minds on this light, the better we're able to hold this frequency of existence for ourselves, for others, and for our planet. To hold that light, be that light, and continue to return to that feeling of the light time and again whenever you have opportunity during this day. Keep coming to that light. Sharing our reading this morning, we read from Luke's Gospel, 3rd chapter, verse 15 to 17 and 21 to 22. As the people were filled with expectation, and all were questioning in their hearts concerning John, whether he might be the Messiah, John answered all of them by saying, I baptize you with water, but one who is more powerful than I is coming. I am not worthy to untie the thong of his sandals. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand, to clear his threshing floor, and to gather the wheat into his granary. But the chaff he will burn with unquenchable fire. Now, when all the people were baptized, And when Jesus also had been baptized and was praying, the heaven was opened, and the Holy Spirit descended upon him in bodily form like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, the beloved. With you I am well pleased." Here ends the reading. So we go a little further in the Jesus story, and we are here with John the Baptist and the speculation that maybe this is the one. And John protests that he's not the one. And Jesus is there. Jesus comes. Jesus is baptized. And there's a birthing. The Holy Spirit descends as Jesus rises up out of the water. Coming out of the water of baptism, as a child comes out of the water of the womb and comes into new life. Birth. Birth as a new being. Jesus offers us this symbol as we reflect on his birthing in the Spirit. Remind us constantly of our own birthing in the Spirit. We must not take for granted this call to be born from above. It is important for us as sojourners on this earth to come to grips with this important aspect of our journey. Within our tradition, there is infant baptism, and so there may not be that sense of that consciousness, though we might be able to appreciate it in our confirmation. But nonetheless, whether it happens within the context of a sacrament or in some other form, because God is not restricted to particular forms. But however it may take place, that there must be for us that birthing, that being able to awaken to the Spirit of God within us. And this is important because it sets us on the way. It takes us off the beaten track and it places us on a path to godliness or God-mindedness or God-awareness. It is not about being perfect. It is really and truly about learning how to listen, learning how to be open and to be guided by the Father. Because our ultimate goal is to be at one with the Father. So Jesus offers us the example of this birthing. Perhaps you may recall your own birthing, or perhaps your birthing is yet to come. However it is, this birthing is important for us because it is what makes the difference in this journey. You see, there are things for us to understand and to know, but we can only understand them and know them when we are able to perceive them from a different place, from a higher place. And this is why Paul speaks of the fact that God didn't reveal certain things to the educated, but to the lowly. Because it is not about any kind of ability on our part. It is more about openness and receptivity to the guidance of God's Holy Spirit. And so time and again, you hear Jesus making reference to the fact that he is not seeing such faith, not even in Jerusalem, not even among the chosen of God. And this is because there are those in Jesus' day who opened themselves to whatever the divine was guiding them to do. The woman with the hemorrhage, opening herself and being guided, touch his garment and you will be healed. These are persons who bit by bit learn to trust that higher guidance. And so I want to encourage each one of us today to be aware that this higher guidance is available to every single one of us. And we only need to pay attention. Yes, it is so true that the challenges of life at times can be so overwhelming. And we oftentimes don't see a way forward. And yes, at times we wish we could find a way out. But we can't find a way forward. It is times like these that we are being asked to go within and to be still and allow Spirit to lead us forward. It is in a sense our baptism. It is in a sense Spirit bringing us to a place where we have an option. We will either continue to try on our own, or we will allow the guidance of the Spirit. One of the things that many folks testify about, folks who have had such journeys, is that the way the journey went was unimaginable. There was no way that they could conceive that the journey would go in the direction it went. But it did. It did because they trusted. The greatest example of this is Jesus and the crucifixion. No one would imagine that the resurrection would follow. It was never done. But there it was. We don't know, with our limited minds, the grand scheme of things. We try to envision. We try to work out in our minds what it could be. And we don't realize that what we're doing is that we're drawing on what we know. We're drawing on the experiences of others. And the experiences of others and what we know has nothing to do with what God has in store for us. So the invitation is to be still and to listen and to be led out. It's not laziness. It was not cowardness either. It is learning how to wait on God and to listen. And to know that God brings us to a particular place for His purpose. In other versions of this story that was read this morning, John is seen protesting Jesus receiving a baptism from him. But if Jesus didn't receive that baptism from John, there would not have been that manifestation of the Spirit. John didn't have a clue what was to come. And neither do we. We don't have a clue what Spirit is up to. But we need to learn to trust Spirit and know that in God all things are possible. And when we say all things are possible, we're not referring to all things that we know of. Because sometimes we get confused with that. It's not about all the things that we know. It's not about all of our possibilities. No. All things are possible means just that. All things. What I can imagine and what I can't imagine. All things are possible with God. And so it is important for us as we journey to do as Jesus says when he spoke to John. Let it be so for now. Just trust the process. Trust the Spirit. God has a work for us all.
Sing with holy gladness, my Alleluia sing. Uplift, O Lord, hosannas to Jesus, Lord and King. Sing praise in joyful chorus, the hymn of praise today, and sing gentle maidens, your sweet responsive lay. 'Tis good for boys and maidens, sweet hymns to Christ to sing. 'Tis meet for children's voice voices should praise the children's King. For Jesus is salvation and glory, grace and rest to babe, boy, and maiden, the one Redeemer blessed. O boys, be strong in Jesus, to toil for him is gain. And Jesus walked with Joseph, which Jesus saw and claimed. O maidens, live for Jesus, who was a maiden's son. Be patient, pure and gentle, and